we're here now, and I regret everything.
Regret ever asking.
I shouldn't have done it.
I think if we can try and keep it from like being on our throats,
Yeah.
I don't even think anyone hears it anymore. You know?
Yeah. Hello.
Hi. Hello. Hi. Hi.
Okay.
Check. It's already checked. All right. Good morning, everybody. It is Eugene and
Anne-Marie.
And we are back again with episode 8. Starting to lose count. Episode 8 of Half Awake, Fully Caffeinated. We are currently sipping on a Rwanda and an Ethiopia. I forgot which colors were which, but I believe this is Ethiopia and this is Rwanda.
Yep.
And our topics today, mine are Mazzacaffe. What is it? And are there others of Mazzacaffe in other cultures? And then the Wim Hof Method. Wim Hof.
Wim Hof.
Wim Hof.
Wim Hof.
And then for Anne-Marie.
Mine are tannins and the interstitium. That sounds like a TED Talk. Tannins and the interstitium.
Yeah, actually it does. This is our TED Talk.
Welcome.
To TED Talk. Half Awake, Fully Caffeinated TED Talk. They'd be
Yeah.
like, they know nothing about half the shit they're talking about.
And they're also very sleepy.
Yes. But we can go ahead and how are we going to do it this time? How are we going to figure out who goes first?
Oh yeah.
And we don't have the bell. Where's the bell?
I'll get the bell. I get the bell.
While you're there, can you grab? Actually, you know what? I'm going to do this anyway.
What am I doing?
All right now? I'm going to hammer.
Watch this be the worst idea to ever have brought this bell in because it makes the podcast so annoying.
So annoying that no one actually would ever watch it. But we're ready.
Okay, who goes first? You go first. I went first last time.
Did you though?
Yeah.
I don't know, but I've gone first a lot of times.
Okay, that's fair.
So
Me go first?
we're not going to do rock, paper, scissors because we know the standard mode of operation for that. You have something?
No, I was just pulling up my notes. Okay,
right.
but let me try the coffee first.
I like both. They're both bright. They both have promise. They both have a future.
Oh, there's so much happening. The Rwanda tastes like bread crust, but in a good way.
Bread crust with butter.
Like brown bread crust.
Brown bread crust. Bread crust.
It makes Ethiopia almost boring. Okay. I'll go tannins.
Okay, tannins. All right.
And setting the timer. No, a timer, not an alarm.
Not 6 minutes or 6 hours. I don't know what that one was.
We're going.
Okay.
Okay, so tannins. Think of the last time you had a really good glass of red wine or a cup of coffee or maybe some nuts. And then as you're tasting it, you're going, it feels thick on my mouth. I'm really sorry for using these words that I'm using, but we don't edit this.
This is for the people.
This is already out. Anyway, so that's the feeling of like the dryness in your mouth that makes you go, that's tannins. Mm-hmm. That's what tannins are, everybody. And oh no, it just lost all of my notes. There we go. Okay, tannins, they're natural compounds found in food, like plants, fruits, beverages, all of the above natural foods. And they add not only the like feeling, but there is a specific tannin flavor to our foods, and I don't know how to explain the tannin flavor. I just know what it is.
What is it?
It's
tastes like green.
Yeah, like green, but like
if you were to just take a big old bite out of a green green banana.
Ooh, yeah. Unripe green banana. That's exactly what it is. Yeah.
Yes.
Believe it or not, that's good in food though. Sometimes.
It's good for you.
They're also about And they're full of antioxidants as well, much like, what was it that I looked up last week?
Polyphenols.
Polyphenols, and tannins. Both antioxidants, super good for the body, for health benefits in that sense as well. So with that, hang on, I lost my place with my notes. I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
Coffee, chocolate, nuts. Dan, did I really go over everything?
You might have. But what's the chemical structure?
Tannins. I didn't look at the chemical structure of tannins, I'm sorry.
It's okay. I think that a good thing to note on tannins is that it can be roasted out. You can get tannins out of the coffee. So like a light roast coffee is more likely to have a more tannin-y feel than a dark roast coffee. Dark roast coffee, but it really depends also on where it's coming from too. And it really comes down to it comes down to coffee. So you think about wines. When people say it's a dry wine, it's a dry white or a dry red. Those have quite a bit more tannins in it. And then I do think that a good way to think about it is that it is as if you have bitten into the most unripe thing that you can.
Yeah.
And that is like an explosion of tannins.
Yes.
Yes.
It's a learned, I feel like you have to learn to like it when you first taste tannins.
Oh, yes.
It's not nice, but like
100%.
Now whenever I get tannins, I'm like, ooh, tannins.
I'm not that way. I don't like tannins actually. I like my coffee to be juicy.
I see tannins in a good red wine. That's how I know I'm old.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a wine drinker. I actually don't drink very much anymore, but that's probably why I don't care for dry.
For tannins, dry
wines.
A dry red.
Did you already stop your timer?
No.
Yeah, how much you got?
I got,
When did it go off? Oh, just now. Wonderful. Okay, I think I will mix it up a little bit. I'm gonna go to the Wim Hof Method.
Oh.
For those of you who are not aware of who Wim Hof is, there we go. Gotta go up a little bit further up. Wim Hof is an individual that has a proclivity to suffering in as many different types as possible. Cold exposure, breathing. He puts a lot of pressure on breathing, and then these are some of his accolades and the reason why we actually spend time learning about the stuff that he's done. First is he holds numerous world records for extended cold exposure, including like ice baths and stuff. I'm sure all of you have seen that, and I'm kind of glad that the winter's over so that we can stop seeing people doing ice baths. And then he has climbed Mount Kilimanjaro in shorts. I'm not entirely sure how cold it gets there, but it is the highest point in Africa. And then he's run a half marathon above the Arctic Circle without shoes.
Why?
No idea. But this is stuff that Wim Hof has done. But there are three kind of things that Wim Hof practices. The first one, which is the one that we'll spend the most time talking about, is breathing techniques. The second one is cold exposure, and the third one is meditation, which we've already talked about in episode 7 of Half Awake Fully Caffeinated. But cold exposure, for those of you that aren't super aware, it is actually good for you to do like cold baths, cold showers. Cold bath is actually better than the cold showers, but it helps to increase ATP, which is food for the mitochondria, which is the
powerhouse of the cell.
Powerhouse of the cell. So cold exposure, cool, whatever. Breathing. Wim Hof has a very interesting type of breathing technique that has been known to influence the autonomic nervous system, which was originally thought to be impossible, which means that you're able to regulate your immune system and also, what was this little part here? Fight stress and disease. There's also physiological changes. This is also kind of with cold exposure meditation, but there's physiological changes including inflammation, reduced inflammation, improved concentration, better sleep, increased endorphins. And it is a very holistic approach to taking care of yourself, starting with just your breath. But the Wim Hof method of breathing, which I'm not entirely sure if this is exactly accurate, but first you start with controlled hyperventilation, which means that you're going for 30 to 40 breaths. And you're supposed to not force it. You're supposed to just
naturally hyperventilate.
I don't know. You're not supposed to go. You're supposed to go. It's like you're sniffing.
Like a little
sniffing,
dog.
Like a little sniff for 30 to 40 breaths. And then after you've done that, you hold. And you hold for as long as you can. And then once you've reached that moment of like, oh my God, I'm going to pass out, you breathe in a bigger one, and then you hold for another 10 to 15
But you don't breathe out?
You don't breathe out.
But you breathe, oh, God.
Breathe in. And then recovery, which is you let everything out and you have deep inhales that are held for 15 seconds, 10 to 15 seconds. And you do that for 3 to 4 rounds. I have not tried it, so I guess we'll do that live.
Let's
How much
try
you
it.
got?
30 seconds.
30 seconds. Okay, 30 seconds to hyperventilate. Okay, and go.
This is great audio listening. So I could keep going, but you got this. You got this time. I didn't do it properly at all. The hyperventilation, I got embarrassed. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't. I felt very odd, silently hyperventilating.
I actually don't feel entirely too bad after that.
Yeah, no,
I started
and
to
I
go a
know,
little lightheaded.
Like breath
but
work.
I think it's because of the coffee.
Yeah, breath work. I get why.
This is why she doesn't meditate. She doesn't actually focus on the breathing.
I know. No. I actually stop breathing when I meditate.
It's actually good for you.
I go into a comatose state.
Fun, interesting fact is that having more carbon dioxide in your body actually fights oxidation, because oxidation happens from
oligarchy.
Yep.
Oxygen. That's really cool. So what you're telling me is when I don't breathe when I'm meditating, I'm actually reversing my age. Thank you very much.
You're slowing it down. Also, it's been proven that the less breaths that you take per minute,
every breath you take
is another step to death. But yeah, all right, cool. We're gonna go to do Anne-Marie with the interstitium.
The interstitium is a fun little thing. It's not a little thing.
It's a lot of things.
It's a lot of things.
It's a lot of little.
Little things. Okay, interstitium. Let's go. So, picture this. Close your eyes. Okay, thank you. You're strolling through a bustling city. Okay, you're surrounded by all these towering buildings and all these people running around, and it's New York. Okay, you're in New York City. And what if I told you that that's what the inside of your body is like? So, the interstitium.
Where did you read this?
Did
you make that up yourself?
No.
You definitely got that from something.
I definitely did.
Oh, man.
So our body is it's the interstitium. It's a network of fluid-filled spaces that are found throughout your body. And it is acting as a highway for cells and nutrients and waste, and it's just everybody is running in and out on it, and it's like it's an organ, but it's in your organs.
To clarify, this is not your veins. This is not blood flow. This is other fluids. The 70% of water that you are
is flooding through your interstitium.
Interstitium.
Because
there's some of that water is blood in the blood, but a lot of that is just kind of there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And with that, so it's the importance of the interstitium is one of the things that they I think thought it was the purpose of for the longest time is just it's a space filler. I have always wondered what's in the spaces between your muscles and your veins and stuff, because I'm like, well, there's more than just muscles and veins. It's interstitium, and it's
superstitious
it's
interstitium.
It's Its intention is to basically help balance out I almost said the body, your bodily organs, to have the appropriate amount of nutrition and make sure all of the waste is getting taken away and all of the appropriate stuff is getting put in. Helps fight like diseases or keep your immune system up, everything like that. And
it's like life is a highway.
Yeah,
That's the interstitium.
That's the interstitium. It is, yeah. Super highway, zipping around, delivering essential nutrients and messages while keeping everything running smoothly. So it's not, like I said kind of before, it's not just in one area of your body. It's an organ that's kind of like your skin that's everywhere. Thank you for that.
Everywhere.
It's like your skin, but it's inside and it's wet. Mm-hmm. Good morning.
So, interesting fact about the interstitium: when it was first discovered, there's this guy that like sees organs and he like does cross sections of the organs, and he was just like, oh, that's weird. That has that weird like honeycomb look to it, and he's like, whatever, moved on, and then it kept on coming up and up and up and up and up, and I was like, why is this honeycomb there? And it turns out almost all of your organs have some sort of honeycomb structure that allows for the interstitium to flow through it. And also, interstitium is probably one of the reasons why cancer is able to proliferate throughout your body and not just only be in one area. Because, you have tumors, and then you think about, oh, why can't you just get rid of the tumor and then call it good? It's because cancer finds its way into your body through the interstitious highway, and it puts its gnarly little like claws into you after it's gotten through.
Like road work.
Mm-hmm. And so they have looked at seeing what they can do to isolate cancer from the interstitium to help reduce the way how it gets out.
Would you say that they would do that using CRISPR?
Actually, I'm not entirely sure how they've done that. Yeah, it's very interesting. I think the interstitium is really cool. It is obviously up to debate as to whether or not interstitium is actually an organ. And I'm not going to argue either way. I'm just going to say that it's really cool that there's a definition for that fluid area inside your body. And interestingly enough, I bet if you take the Wim Hof Method or actually meditate, you can probably feel the interstitium.
That sounds horrifying.
How is that horrifying?
Just feeling the fluids running through your body. I'm sorry, I freak out when I feel my heartbeat. I'm one of those people.
So that's why you can't meditate either, is because like you're supposed to feel your heartbeat.
I freak because it makes me realize that I'm human and like that I'm this is the only thing keeping me alive, and I probably could treat it better.
Wow, you really have I freak out. Tangential thought.
I freak out when I feel, if I can, like, how you can sometimes feel your heartbeat if you're like laying on your wrist or something, you can feel your heartbeat.
I can feel my heartbeat in my fingertips sometimes.
Yeah, freaks me out, man. Body shouldn't do that. Like they should. They literally should. But it freaks me out that okay, I'm spiraling. I'm sorry. I spiraled.
For anyone out there, it is totally normal to feel your heartbeat, and actually probably part of a very healthy.
Yeah, it's very healthy
way of
mindset.
living.
Not me though. Keeps me.
Nah, dog.
Keeps me on edge.
Okay, well, cool. We'll talk about Mazzacaffe.
Mazzacaffe.
Go. All right, so Mazzacaffe is an Italian method of preparing coffee, and it has its origins in social sharing. Like it's all about being with everyone. But the reason why this is such a good coffee for those types of situations is because it's super simple to do. You just take coffee and you grind it. You keep grinding it, and you keep grinding it, and you grind all the way until you get to a super fine dust, super duper fine dust, and then you throw it in, put water, stir, and stir, and stir, and stir, and stir. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like you're trying to create like a instant coffee, but in the most archaic way possible, which is just grinding all the way down to the finest thing in the world. And I would go ahead and say that every once in a while you can add sugar to your hot water mix as you're stirring it. And the reason why this is a very big social method is because of how easy it is to prepare. It really takes not that much effort, and it doesn't require you to have the best type of grinder or a Hario V60 pour over set or a gooseneck kettle. All you really need is a pot and water and something to grind coffee with, which you could do a mortar and pestle.
So this is fascinating.
Okay.
Because a Mazzacaffe, from what I learned from it, is I think that that's the method in which you prepare the coffee when you're drinking coffee. But a Mazzacaffe is the practice of having a glass of or a shot of liquor after your coffee to counter the effects of the caffeine, which is why in a social setting it's a big social thing. So that's why that's fascinating to me, because that is very different from what I learned, and so the internet can never be trusted. My father and the internet.
Ah, interesting. Well, yeah. So then she can kind of dig into the other parts of it, which is getting fucking hammered. I guess while you're drinking coffee.
That makes sense for why you struggled. That makes a lot of sense for why you're like, there's nothing.
I didn't get very much from it, unfortunately. I can go ahead and say that it can be traced to the 16th century. And then there are other methods of doing something similar to this. And I'm sure a lot of you guys heard what I was talking about. And you're like, Turkish coffee. And it's, yes, Turkish coffee. They use a sezve or ibrik, which is the little pot thing that you see when you watch Turkish coffee being made. It's in that hot sand and it's got that pot. Then you have Greek coffee, which is pretty much Turkish coffee, but the thing is called a briki instead of an ibrik or sezve. And then Arabic coffee or kahwa, made in a dala, and it's usually flavored with cardamom.
Dala.
And then they kind of brought up Vietnamese coffee, and they're like, oh, well, it's not really, but it is. And I hate to say it, it probably isn't. I mean, Vietnamese coffee is just a very thick slurry of coffee with condensed milk. So not a huge fan of that one. I have contention with that one.
Ooh.
Ethiopian coffee or buna, which is really legitimately as basic as it gets. Like you literally roast it lightly with your pan, and then you grind it super fine, and then you do it. It all happens all at once. And then I think cowboy coffee is also an example of Mazzacaffe, which to me, cowboy coffee is just like super bare bones, simple, basic coffee brewing. And
what is cowboy coffee?
Cowboy coffee is legitimately, you just take coffee, you grind it, and it doesn't need to be fine. You just throw it into the water, and then you boil it. And then as it's boiling, you stir and you let it brew. And then you add cold water on top, and the cold water helps sink the coffee to the bottom. And then you just pour it out.
Fascinating. I learned so much.
That's all the same too, like Turkish coffee.
Oh, you put the cold water on top?
Not the cold water part,
okay.
but they leave the grounds in there because it's so fine, but then you just, when you're drinking it,
at the end you're chewing
there's
it.
a slurry. And it's up to you as to whether or not you want to drink it.
You enjoy it or not.
Yes, of course.
Of those, I've only ever had Turkish coffee.
How about you tell me a little bit more about this getting fucked up and hammered?
Yeah, well, it's because it's a social thing. So like in Italy and a lot of Europe, drinking coffee is like, it's part of the social culture there. Like it's not just your go juice in the morning, you know, like you sit in a cafe and you drink coffee, and that is...
And you think about big things.
You think about philosophy and stuff.
Interstitium and feel your heartbeat
Yeah.
in your face.
Yeah, and so sometimes when it's later in the day, but you still want to hang out and have coffee, it's a little like post-dinner, you're hanging out with friends. Because you know how sometimes after dinner at a restaurant you'll get coffee as like a post-dessert thing?
Yes.
In nice restaurants. It's what follows that, so that you're not wired and up all night from the coffee that you just ate.
So quite literally, you just fuck up your system as hard as you can before bedtime.
No, yeah,
it's like
caffeine, alcohol, bed. Well,
there's probably a reason why the like average lifespan of humans was around 30 years old, is because we did that kind of shit.
But I don't know. I feel like Italians have a very long lifespan. I was
gonna look it up. I was gonna be like,
I know.
what
I
was
was
the
gonna
average?
look it up. Yeah.
More, what was the average lifespan
yeah,
of an Italian?
true.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's to counter the main purpose of it is to counter the effects of the caffeine. So you're drinking the coffee as a social thing, but you don't want the effects of the caffeine, so you take a shot of something. You're not getting fucked up. You're just taking one shot, 1 cup of coffee, 1 shot, and you're not shooting it. Please, you're not shooting it. You're sipping it.
Sipping a shot or sipping the coffee?
Well, you're sipping the alcohol. I feel like you're seeing this as like let's go, and it's not. It's like let's enjoy our coffee. Let's enjoy our brandy, and then you're having a great time because you're not so wired from the caffeine.
This is how little I drink nowadays, is that the thought of drinking coffee and then having an alcoholic beverage afterwards sounds like it's going to ruin my sleep.
Yeah, no, it sounds like it hurts.
I'm an old man now.
I can't lie.
That's a young Eugene thing that I would have done when I was like 24 and been like, this is great.
Yeah, no, even I would try it once, but I have no reason to do it, you know? Like, when am I gonna do that? I never want to drink coffee at night.
I mean, it does kind of sound nice, but it's like you could just do tea.
Yeah.
You could just do tea.
Probably the same thing.
Yeah.
A Mazza tea.
Mazza tea.
A Mazza tea.
Mazza tea. We do have a super good herbal tea lately that I've been very happy about. The Feel Better or whatever.
Feel Better. That's a good one. You're welcome.
Yeah, 2. You guys 2.
2.
Yeah,
you.
2. All right, let's get to the next questions. My question to you is zippers.
Zipper. Ooh.
Zippers. I would like, look at this thing. Look at this. Wow. I want to know about the origin of the zipper, and then major leaps in zipper technology.
Zippers. Origin and major leaps in zipper technology. Okay. Okay, my question for you is, okay. What is a chatelaine? Chatelaine. ChatTELANE. Something like that.
The fuck?
What is a chatelaine, and what would you have on yours? I want a chatelaine so bad. I'm gonna be real honest. I think they're fascinating. And like the history of them. Go full nerd, please.
Okay.
Okay, I'm done.
Okay, all right. And then let's think. Coffee. All right. Why milk?
Ooh.
Why milk for lattes?
Why milk? Why milk? Why milk?
That might actually not give the best answer.
But like, I'm intrigued because why not water? Why not? I mean, like,
we do
water.
Americano
Yeah,
or long
obviously.
black. Either one. However you prefer it. For those of you that have watched.
But like, why not? I mean, I know it's not. Why not orange juice? Because it's gross. But like,
some people have been doing that though.
Exactly.
Some people have been.
Yeah. Why milk?
Wilk.
And
then if that
that
doesn't end up panning out with a lot of information, I think why milk, and then learning a little bit more about the cultural momentum behind all of the other milks.
Like alternative milks?
Yes. I think the answer for the cultural momentum behind most of them is pretty obvious, but
my coffee question for you is, what is caffeine? Like, legitimately, I know it's a stimulant, but like, why? I've heard that it's like a poison and that's why it turns into a stimulant, but like, I don't know that I want to know what caffeine is because I put a lot of it in my body.
Cool. I think those are some good questions. That being said, thank you guys so much for joining. Per usual, do not forget to like, comment, subscribe, and or give us some of your own opinions on what we should talk about. Oh my God, no, actually, I have a question from Brian, which I should probably ask you first.
Ooh, okay. Instead of my milk?
Yes, let's see. We should probably do Brian's first because he's actually willing.
Brain.
He's actually reaching out and saying, hey, check this
Yeah.
out. Light versus dark roast. And why do we do medium coffee here?
And why do we
Light to medium.
do medium?
Cool. Brian, we got you. Sorry.
We
were
got
up
you.
next. You were absolutely next.
Cool.
All right. Thank you guys very much. Try and do what Brian does. Give us some suggestions.
Suggestions. Let us know what you think.
Yeah, buddy.
Remarkable.
Oh,
Buddy.
yeah. Sorry. I was
Buddy.
looking at Remarkable again. Episode 3.
Episode 3, requesting.
Calling out Remarkable.
Calling out Remarkable.
Mine is chewed up, but Anne-Marie doesn't even have one.
I don't even have one.
Yeah.
Help me.
Help.
Help.
Bye.
Goodbye.